Welcome on in, everybody, to a very special episode of the Big Play Cleveland Show. It is the biggest thing that we've ever done on the Big Play Network. I'm Nick Padone, joined alongside Big Play Dave, the founder.
We're back, Nick.
It's been a minute, and we are very excited to introduce to you guys the newest member of the Big Play family. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Cleveland Browns quarterback Jameis Winston joining us in the studio here at Burke Lakefront Airport. Jameis, what's going on?
Nick, well, when I first got to Cleveland, they asked me, like, Jameis, what are you here for? I said, I'm here to make big plays, right? So it just happened to correlate that you guys were here in this fabulous establishment, which allowed me to make some big plays with you all.
James, can you believe you're in Cleveland here at Burke Lakefront Airport? Look outside, man. This is pretty cool, right?
This is definitely not one of the places that they told me to come visit, right? But I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be a part of this family, and I'm ready to see how great we can be together.
Yeah, for sure. So what have been your early thoughts on Cleveland? Obviously, the Dog Pound, very loyal bunch of fans. I know you've played in some great NFL cities and obviously at FSU, great college football town. What are your thoughts on Cleveland so far?
I love it. And you're right, Nick. It starts with the fans. When you have passionate fans that bleed, sweat, and just cry and yearn for the Cleveland Browns to win football games. I've talked to numerous people, and they say, well, outside of LeBron being here, like, the Browns have always been our team. And I said, well, I'm happy that you put an asterisk by LeBron because I know he meant a lot to this city. But I'm just grateful that I can be a part of this excellent fan base with the Dog Pounds, and I got to practice on my bark, but I guarantee you it's going to be ready.
Yeah,
Hanford Dixon can help you with that. He's got his bark down since he created the Dog Pound, so we're good in that department. He'll teach you.
Yes, I'm looking forward to meeting the creator, the founder of the Dog Pound. I get to be with the founder of Big Play Network, but now it's just, it's so much that I'm here to do, and I'm so happy.
For sure. We were talking even before the show that you got to meet LeBron while you're in town at some point. He's a Browns fan now. I know you guys got the Cowboys week 1, but he is a Browns fan. That's out there.
Well, that's definitely required. I'm asking Myles Garrett, for every chance, like, what is LeBron doing right now? Like, he knows, he has a unique routine himself. But I think that's definitely required. LeBron, if you tuning into this, and I know you are, please, let's link up. Even if it has to be with Miles, like, it doesn't matter. And Deshaun, I know you and Deshaun close, so let's just find a way to do it.
For sure. And we're excited to see you and Deshaun do big things for us. Let's talk about what you're going to do with Big Play. It's something that's very unique. You're joining us as an analyst. You're not exactly breaking down X's and O's. Jameis, tell the people what we're getting ready to do together here.
Well, guys, and I am a Southern boy from Bessemer, Alabama, home of 2 Heismans, Bo Jackson and myself. And what we like to do in the South is we love good home cooking. So I'm going to be your food connoisseur, your Big Play dish interviewer. We're going to be going into different restaurants, particularly on date nights with my wife, so you get to see a beautiful lady with my wife. And we're just checking out the food scene in Cleveland. I come from a city, New Orleans, Louisiana, that has some of the most amazing food there is in this country, but I'm looking forward to venturing out and seeing what the food scene has to offer here in Cleveland.
So you've been a little busy.
Yeah.
Have you had time to? We talk to fans of Cleveland; they can be crazy. You'll learn if you haven't already.
Yeah.
But just getting out downtown Cleveland, the surrounding areas. What are your initial thoughts on just Cleveland in general, and then some of the food that you've eaten so far?
Well, Cleveland really reminds me a lot of my hometown in Birmingham, like just the city there. A lot of my family members are actually in Michigan, in the Cleveland area. I was, my uncle, God rest his soul, is Gerald Levert. We were married into his family, so I have a lot of family in Cleveland, and they always describe to me that Cleveland is basically the Birmingham of the North. Is it the Midwest?
Midwest.
Yeah. So I've been kind of familiar with the downtown area. What the biggest thing that kind of threw me for a loop, the geographical area of Cleveland happened to be right on the lake. Like me and my wife were like describe. We was like, I don't know where Cleveland's really gonna be. Like I know Ohio State's right there. You know, I know it's like Pittsburgh's right there. Like, but where's Cleveland? You know, and when we got here, it was March, like right when I was finna get ready to sign, and it was snowing.
Horrible time to come.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we had like my physical like on the east side of Cleveland. They were like, well, you know, the east side is where it snows a lot. And I was
Snow
like,
belt.
I was like, why is that? And he was like, because of the lake. And I was like, oh my goodness, okay, so it's right here on the lake. But man, we're excited. And Cleveland has been definitely it's definitely exceeded all my expectations.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool to hear. Hey, we were talking too a little bit before the show. You know, you've played here before, you know, with other organizations, but you once had a very cold walk downtown Cleveland.
Yes, my first time here, you know, it's blizzarding. The good thing about up north is like down south, if it's 32 degrees, we're not going to school. You know, we're checking like Fox 6 News to see like, hey, like how many days are we off school? They're saying be aware it's ice on the roads. You know, but you get to Cleveland, I'm just like, oh, it's snowing, and we come from New Orleans where we're indoors and it's hot year round, and I'm just like, hey, you know what? I'll take a trip to the Marble Room. You know, and you know, obviously, like why isn't there Lyfts or Ubers? Maybe because it's a blizzard, you know, but I check, I confirm it's still open.
Yeah.
So I take a walk to the Marble Room. Not far, it was, but we were staying at the Hilton downtown, so it was a pretty quick walk, and had a great meal there.
That's awesome. But it
Now
was a cold walk.
you and the
Definitely
wife,
chilly walk.
are you obviously going out to eat? Do you guys like to cook at home as well?
Yeah, my wife, she's a Southern Belle. She enjoys cooking. I participate in my realm of things, and I'm more of a soul food type guy. So I'm frying things. I'm just, you know, sometimes I get on the grill a little bit, but you know, I'm just boiling some cabbage. You know what I'm saying, chopping up some collard greens. But you know, I'm really more of a canned food type of cooker. You know, so it's already ready for me. I just put it in the pot and put it on. But I add a lot of spices in it. You know, I fatten it up a little bit. But my wife, she can really throw it down.
That's
awesome.
great. So we're having tailgates down here at Burke for Brown season, right around the corner. If you had to make a tailgate spread, what would you go with?
Man, one, I would have to get some nice bratwurst, right?
Okay.
I just think there's just very filling, you know, and I like those Hawaiian roll subs.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the Hawaiian rolls, you know,
Yep.
they got the hot dog buns now.
Yep.
I get some Hawaiian rolls. Definitely got to put some ribs on it. I don't know if pork is a big thing up here, but we can get some beef.
Oh, yeah.
Beef ribs.
Yep.
You know, throw it on the grill. You know, my wife don't eat too much pork, but get some of those. I mean, the thing about fried chicken is like when you put it in the aluminum, it's not good no more. So just throw some chicken on the grill. You know, have a nice fruit platter. You know, I think that.
Ooh,
like,
okay.
yeah, for
Building the whole spread
the
here.
healthy, to build the health, like some little hydration. And man, ain't nothing like good old grilled corn on the cob. Like I just love it. I love it. I grill it with the hull on. You know, I wrap it up in aluminum foil, put some butter on it, sprinkle a little pepper on it, and it is mwah. It's amazing. So at a tailgate, you know, I haven't been to many tailgates. I think the only few I used to go when I was getting recruited, I would go to like Alabama, Auburn, and go to those tailgates, and you know they had some really good food there. I just say, but that's it.
All right, that's cool.
Are you
we
taking
got a
notes
good
there?
spread. I got some notes. We got a whole
We're gonna
spread.
have to do that for one of these weeks.
We gotta
the
do
Jameis
it.
Winston
Okay.
tailgate.
And some chips and dip.
Chips
Don't
and dip.
forget
We're
to
gonna
add
add-
the chips and dip.
All right, yep. It'll be an ongoing menu. You guys don't have to worry about that. We're gonna keep our combo with Jameis alive. Don't go anywhere. More of the Big Play Cleveland Show right after this. Welcome on back into the Big Play Cleveland Show. We are so lucky to be joined by the newest member of Big Play, Cleveland Browns quarterback, Jameis Winston. We're talking about all things food. I got to ask you about the eating a W.
Yes.
Where did that begin? When did you eat your first W? And how long has that followed you?
So I've been eating W's my entire life. Actually,
Put it on a T-shirt.
I have. I mean, like even I believe it's on a T-shirt. Actually, you know, my knick-knack paddywhack give a dog a bone T-shirt is on sale. You can go check out J Boo Wins on Instagram and go to a little link. And the bone on the T-shirt is a W, right? So we're eating W's, but it started it was an alphabet soup talk. It was an alphabet soup motivational talk, right? Because when you're eating the alphabet soup, you're eating. You see a lot of letters that's in there, and you scraping the plate. And my thing is we're leaving all the other letters. All we're eating is W's, right? It happened to be a handheld when we got to New Orleans week. It was a tough time in the year going into the dome, and I pulled it out, eating the W. My team, they've heard it before. I actually had the cafeteria in Tampa Bay make W pancakes for my offensive line. Okay, and they ate some W pancakes. We lost the game, so it didn't work. But
we'll edit that out.
But at the end of the day, it started back in the day, probably high school, where I was talk about the alphabet soup of just eating W's.
That's awesome.
And only eating the W.
How about the pregame speeches? Mm-hmm. When was the first pregame speech that you did to really ramp up the team, amp them up for a game?
And how many of those are there? Are there infinite
and
amounts?
I've got more questions too. Because are you winging this, or are you in the mirror practicing?
Well, no, it's really what's on my heart for that game, and sometimes it's incorporated as the message that coach was preaching at the beginning of the week. Sometimes it's just whatever I felt like God is putting on my heart. But when you grow up in the era with the Brian Dawkins, the Ray Lewises, the Drew Brees, people who have had prolific speeches, you yearn for that, And I remember in Little League, we used to huddle up and we used to talk about, murder, kill. Guess what's happened on the field? Belsman Tigers got crunked. The other team got stumped. All that different type of stuff of chants, and it's just that initial motivation that we get. Obviously it's just words, right? These are grown men who they're ready to play regardless. Yep. But just having that leader. I just think about 300 where Leonidas is getting his crew together and they're about to get ready to go to battle. Think about that 5-star general that's speaking into his military operation, and they're about to get ready and do some work. You want to be able to lead your guys, and sometimes it can be words, but motivate them and instill something inside of them that just connects. And if you can just get 3 people, or you can get somebody hey, I felt that, okay, we're going somewhere.
For sure. I think you guys could tell we're going to have a ton of fun with Jameis this season. Super excited for you guys to be a part of the network. Super excited to go review some food, too. It'll be a fun part of this show. So make sure you guys be on the lookout for that. Make sure to go show him some Cleveland love on all of his social medias. We're going to step aside. Dave and I will be back when we return on the Big Play Cleveland Show. Don't go anywhere. Welcome on back into the Big Play Cleveland Show. That was a lot of fun having Jameis Winston in studio, and that is just
he's already a top 5 Cleveland Brown at the quarterback position for me.
For sure. That's just a little bit of a taste, too, no pun intended, of what people are going to get on his segment on this show. Before we're going to try to pair it up before every Cleveland Browns home game. Jameis is going to join the show, and he's going to go around to different restaurants around the area, and he's going to review the food. And everything as nice as the Marble Room and down to some hidden gems throughout the city. So, Dave, it's going to be cool having him in here.
I want to do that tailgate, so we're going to have to text back with Jameis and get a finalized menu for one of these tailgates.
He gave us a ton. He gave us an entire Costco cart of tailgate items. So, yeah, we'll have to figure that out because first tailgate this week.
I know, man.
Sunday, Browns, Cowboys.
Yep.
Kicking it off with Greg and Blake Williams here down at Burke Airport. It'll be cool.
Yeah, man, it's been a little while. I'm ready for week 1. Cowboys, Greg Williams. So if you're not going to the game, even if you are going to the game, come down, tailgate with the crew out at Burke, and afterwards we're going to come in, cook some food. Not Jameis's menu quite yet, but our buddy Tony Lane is going to come in, cook some tailgate food, come watch the game with Greg and Blake Williams.
Garage beer also on deck, better believe.
Nick, you knew that I was going to go there.
Yeah. Fridge is going to be loaded up. So make sure stop by Burke Lakefront Airport. If you're going to the game, if you're not going to the game, we'll be down here hanging out in the front lot, and then we're coming inside to our lounge here at Big Play and having a lot of fun. So
yeah.
Dave,
I would say
cool.
the average garage beer intake, like throughout the season, it's like it's real nervous, and then calms down, and then playoffs gets real nervous. And then just a steady throughout.
Dave, when we used to do this show together, dating back to your garage, it's crazy to say that like playoffs, like that garage beer consumption even takes a tip up. I mean, we were talking about who are they going to draft with the first pick? Who are they going to draft to protect Baker Mayfield?
Well, dude, it used to be.
We've come a long way, guys.
It would be like off season, lots of garage beer, draft, Super Bowl, and then back in plateau, and then the season just like you just have to keep drinking more.
For sure. So we're going to have a lot of fun. I think you guys understand that this Browns season, Jameis Winston joining us before every single Cleveland Browns home game right here on the Big Play Cleveland Show. And we're going to be tailgating this week, week 1, down here at Burke Lakefront Airport. We're going to hit you guys with the rest of the Big Play Cleveland Show. Fill in the blank. We're bringing the heat with Jensen Lewis. Don't go anywhere. More right after this.
All right, welcome to Fill in the Blank, presented by Affinity Whole Health. Affinity Whole Health offers personalized treatment plans to help people feel better. Whether you're struggling with weight loss, low energy, muscle loss, poor sleep, check me out for all those. They can help me with all of that. Affinity Whole Health provides expert guidance and support to help you safely reach your health goals. They've got it covered all throughout Ohio, Cleveland, Columbus, down with our buddy Bobby Carpenter. Don't wait any longer. Click the link in our show clips, free consultation for you. You can check them out at affinitywholehealth.com. I know Chris has been going through his journey. I am filling in today.
We'll get the update.
Feeling a little chunky right now. I feel like I could get a little testosterone, so might be time for me to head over to Affinity Whole Health.
It is a cool spot. And we'll get Chris's update, too, when he's back. But, yeah, check it out, Dave.
I will. After the golf outing, I had like
1,000
9
hot dogs.
pounds of ribs, hot dogs, corn. We didn't even talk about that, by the way. The golf outing, that was fun.
Yeah, a lot of
Weather
fun.
lucked out with that.
Yep.
So I played with Hanford.
I heard you did well.
We were -9. Well, okay, so
Hanford was talking you up. We already knew you were good.
I don't know if I want to say this on the air, but I think I will. So, like, you know, like in golf outings, Nick never knows what I'm going to say. So, like, you know, in golf outings, people are very liberal with the score. Ryan, you probably know this.
Oh, yeah.
Hanford and Bruce Drennan are somewhat similar when it comes to golf outings. Like, 8-foot putt, like, oh, you're good, big dog. I'm like, well, okay. I'm not going to argue with Hanford Dixon.
Yeah.
So I think we were legit -8. But we were in a -9.
All right.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were, I think, so I was riding around with our videographer. We'll have a lot of content that comes out from the golf outing. I think that was the theme throughout groups. There was quite a lot of cheating going on literally throughout the entire day.
Well, the biggest cheating was Jimmy Hanlon's kid and the club pro were on a team.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of crazy.
And then I was like, did you pay for this? And they're like, yes. I was like, God. -14 we lost. -9 was second. I think one team was tied with us for second.
Yeah,
Okay.
you guys did good. Every time I was checking in, you guys
That
were
giant trophy
rock
that
and
I
roll.
bought, now we lost it.
Dang.
That's fine. Got to get it back next year.
Next year.
Pin shot was a good time, though, too.
Pin shot was a lot of fun. I had one of my buddies on there. We wait for it to come out on Pin shot.
I
but
think I know Los.
You'll want to watch this, yes.
That was entertaining. Okay, that's your tease for that. Guys,
Yes.
let's get into a little fill in the blank here. We're going to talk Browns once again. The Browns win Sunday
If the offensive line holds up, I mean, that's going to be my question going into this is, can they keep Deshaun Watson upright? The entire offseason we've talked about Deshaun Watson needs to be really good for this Browns team to do what they want to do this year. But I think this week in particular, they got to just keep him upright. I mean, they're talking about potentially starting Jack Conklin at left tackle, Dave.
Right.
DeJuan Jones at right tackle. Jedrick Wills hasn't not practiced yet, so I'm doubting that he's going to play. My biggest key to victory, I guess, is keeping Watson upright.
Yeah, so if the Browns win Sunday, I will say Deshaun is above average. That's literally, like, I want him to be pretty good.
All right.
It's like a garage beer. Like
Yeah,
just pretty
pretty good.
That's all we're shooting for.
Yeah. No kidding.
Pretty good quarterback. That is pretty good.
That's
Yeah,
it. That's
it.
all we want out of Deshaun week 1. Honestly, throughout the whole season. If he can be pretty good, I'll be pretty happy.
Yeah, same. Likewise. I mean, me and Chris were looking on the show the other week. You know, Baker Mayfield's best year in Cleveland. Threw 27 touchdowns. Like, that's not astonishing. That's not really MVP candidacy worthy.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Like, get us pretty good, and I think we'll all be really happy.
I feel that. How about a new Brown you're looking to be pretty good that you're exciting to see in week 1?
Oh, come on, Dave. It's got to be Jerry Jeudy.
I got to go Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
We're on the same page there, Nick.
It-
like, especially since we haven't seen it in the preseason. Like, Deshaun to Jeudy, we have no idea if the chemistry's there. They practice a lot, outside of those preseason games, which is good, but we have to see it in a game, on the field. Deshaun hitting Jerry Jeudy 5-6 times in this game. It's got to happen.
Got to happen. And I think, too, it's Jerry Judy's such a pivotal piece in what they're trying to do here. And they brought in Ken Dorsey. They're going to throw the football more. The guy that you brought in here to catch said football is Jerry Jeudy. Get him involved in this game. He's the future. Amari Cooper, guys, just that one-year deal. It's going to be a lot of Jerry Jeudy for years to come. I think he is the most exciting new Brown that I'll be on the lookout for here, Gab.
I'm excited for Jameis Winston's pregame speech.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah.
Those always get us going.
For
okay,
sure.
the Muni lot will
As
be
he
able.
walks by the studio.
Hey. Peace out. Thanks for coming.
How cool is that?
It's
Yeah,
awesome, and he's
crazy.
so down to earth.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so what time do you think the Muni lot will be lined up by? Blank a clock on Sunday or Saturday.
I don't think they're, because it's a 4:25 kick, so that's the caveat here.
It's such
It's-
bad news.
It's a late start here on the lake, so
Okay, yeah, so they won't be.
I don't think the lot's going to be opened. Is kind of like the issue is they're going to open it up later. So
Oh.
I'm axing that question. It's void. Ask
You
me
know
that
what's
again
scary,
for our
though?
first real
Because,
1
like,
o'clock.
What are we gonna
Typically,
do?
that does not deter.
No, it just
Browns
lines up
fans.
cars.
Like,
Yeah.
have you ever
Yeah.
gone to like a
Yeah.
Monday night or a Thursday night game? They are there in the morning.
Yep, they just sit in their car.
Yeah, that's true.
Park.
I'm interested now.
Put out a chair.
They're gonna find a way. They'll hop the
I'll
fence.
say
Crack
3
out a
a.m.
garage beer.
3 a.m.
Okay, fair enough. The final score in the Browns Cowboys game will be.
Wow, we're
I'm
going
interested.
score predict.
I am interested for you guys.
I think low scoring. I think we didn't see any of Deshaun Watson throughout the preseason. I think this is going to be a lower scoring affair. I'm going to say Browns win 20-17 on the leg of Dustin Hopkins' field goal. I like that under, Dave.
Yeah. God, I would love a shootout so much. I don't see it happening. But give me 28 Browns, 21 Cowboys. I think it'll be close.
Okay,
I
I'd
think
be
it'll be
happy
close.
if they could put up 28 points
That
in
would be
week 1. It would be
huge.
huge. We would be feeling really good.
You're going to need a lot of chemistry out of Jeudy and Amari Cooper and David Njoku.
You know, they say not to do it, but if you
What?
peek ahead on that schedule,
Yeah.
if you could just beat
I've done it.
Dallas, if you could just beat Dallas, there's some winnable games the next 3. I mean, the New York Giants, come on. The Jacksonville Jags, come on. The Raiders with Minshew Mania. I mean, you beat Dallas week 1 and you put up a lot of points doing so. Dave, you know how
One
Cleveland
game at a
gets.
time, Nick.
The city's going to be on fire.
Yes, it will.
Okay, guys, we're gonna take a break. We'll be back with a little bit more. Actually, that's a wrap for Fill in the Blank. I think we got to bring in Jensen for Bringing the Heat right after this.
Welcome on back into the Big Play Cleveland Show. It is time to bring the heat. We're bringing the heat with Jensen Lewis. And as always, it's brought to you by our friends at Northeast Factory Direct. Hey, Northeast Factory has the best quality products at unbelievable prices. And they have your whole house covered with kitchen cabinets, bedroom sets, dining room tables, sofas, even hot tubs and saunas. You guys don't know this, but when we tried to bring in Northeast Factory Direct as a partner, I was like, hey, let me do a segment from a hot tub. They were like, not sure about that. So we're still trying to enlist that trust. You guys got to go to Northeast Factory Direct and get yourselves a hot tub. Go get a sauna. It's a cool fall already here in Northeast Ohio. Go get yourself a hot tub. You could shop online anytime by going to northeastfactorydirect.com or visit them in store, Cleveland, Euclid, Macedonia, North Canton. And make sure to ask about that big play bonus Dave, you're going to be glad that you did.
Did you say you wanted to do a show in a hot tub?
I wanted to do the segment from a hot tub at Northeast Factory Direct. So we're still working through the logistics on that.
Wow, that'd be something. Do you have a hairy chest?
It just showed. Wow. Okay. We're just jumping right into that. I do.
Well, maybe we'd get a lot of views. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Statement.
All right,
piece.
we're bringing in Jensen Lewis. We're bringing the heat.
That took a left turn quickly.
It did.
Welcome, Jensen.
Look at us in studio here. Jensen, what's going on?
He's looking official.
What's up, guys? Yeah, we changed it up a little bit for today, but hey, a shout out to Dave, Nick, of course, all you guys making the big play outing a success over the weekend. Was really fun to be a part of, and I'm telling you, Dave, I'm with you. Some very scandalous scores, or at least some people that might not have been on the up and up, honesty wise. So try and win this thing fair and square next year.
Now, Jensen, is it fair to say you and I carried the team?
I would say that I had a little bit of jitters in me the first couple of holes, because I'm like, all right, I want to make a good first impression. And I think when we hit the 30-foot birdie putt, I felt really good after that on hole number 2. I think we were off and rolling, but dude, you can play. What we need to have happen this offseason, maybe it's a college football Saturday or something. I got to come over and get on the 1s and 2s on the simulator with you, dude. We'll have some fun.
We will break down all of the numbers, yes. But I will say, in the golf outing, we had Jensen. We're like, where should we put him? And he's like, reliever. He's like, reliever, bro. 3rd or 4th, put me in. 30-foot putty sank. We were off to the races.
Oh, good stuff. All
That's
right,
awesome.
Jensen. Hey, our Guardians have won 4 of their last 5. What do you make of this mini resurgence? What happened? We love it.
Yeah, Gavin, I think kind of as we've talked about all year is that the ebbs and flows of the marathon of the season, and really for about 2 or 3 weeks. I know we've talked about it in the last few weeks, is that these guys with runners in scoring position particularly, and then also running into some really good starting pitching, series in and series out. So you have to be able to keep your head afloat a little bit and realize the long-term goals are still within grasp. So I think when you look at just last week to this week, you win that 4th game of the series against the Royals to avoid the sweep at home. And a little did we know that might have been not only just a win in the win column, maybe more so for their mentality of, okay, take a deep breath, be able to kind of right the ship a little bit, and then you beat the Pirates over the weekend to take that series and get started with a great win against Kansas City in the opening game of that set. So yeah, it really coincided a lot with Houston hot at the right time and sweeping Kansas City. And it was like last week never happened, right? You come in 3.5 games ahead last week, you start this week 3.5 games ahead as well.
Jensen, I'm not sure that you saw this, but there was a little bit of a scandal out there on Cleveland Guardians Twitter. And we'll leave names out of it. No names, please. But there was
Tom Withers.
There was a perfect game no-hitter going on, and there was a tweet that went out. And Jinx said perfect game no-hitter. Jensen, what are the rules? Could you please clear us up on the rules about speaking about an active perfect game or no-hitter bid as the game is currently going on?
Yeah, does it apply for internet talk?
Yeah, well, Dave, obviously, Nick, you know where I stand, and I think you've seen examples. I've taken on another job as far as breaking up no-hitters and perfect games being thrown against us. I think within a hitter or two, I think that's where my percentages are last couple of times that's happened with the Guardians. But yes, if we are the ones that are imposing our will and have something special going on, first and foremost, don't mention it. Second of all, you don't talk about it. We are as superstitious on our post-career, playing days as we were during those opportunities. So, yeah, I we'll leave names out of it, but I think the most important part was that Alex Cobb having the performance that he did and literally doing it, guys, in his first start off the IL. I mean, there weren't, a couple of rehab starts to get him right. I mean, he was in rhythm, and I think that's the most important thing to take out of it. But yes, if it's happening for us, don't make any mention of it.
Jensen, when you played, were you guys like out in the bullpen just kind of like looking at each other like, is this really about to happen? Like this guy's dialed in, not saying anything out there?
Yeah, Nick, if you guys remember the infamous perfecto that was not when it was Armando Galarraga in Detroit, we were in the bullpen when that went to the 9th inning. And if you remember, Austin Jackson made a hell of a play in center field to start the 9th inning. That was against Mark Redz-Atlantic, probably his best bullet all year into the gap. And Ajax ran it down. And as we all know from watching, you have to have one, maybe two spectacular defensive plays in a no-hitter or a perfect game. And that was it. And so we all looked at each other in the bullpen like, okay, there it is. It's going to happen. And as we all remember, Jason Donald hits the ground ball, and it's clear as day for us watching it there. But then, Jim Joyce ends up making the most infamous safe call that we've seen in that spot. I think we were more in flux coming into the clubhouse after that, because we're like, okay, like this is weird. Like it should have happened, but it didn't. And then Jason Donald came in and he goes, what am I supposed to say? I was out. I was out, but they called me safe. So I think that in and of itself was one of the weirdest experiences, but probably one of the most real, because it's so rare that those instances come about, much less get that close to fruition, and then for it to not happen because of a blown call. You want to talk about a perfect example of needing replay review back in the day? That's the clearest example of one that call would have been overturned, no doubt about it.
Big time. Hey, you mentioned Alex Cobb looked really good. Obviously, we still have a little bit of a ways to go, but with how the starting pitching has looked lately, what would your playoff rotation start looking like as fans want to start putting that thing together?
Oh, man, boy, that's a great question, Nick. I think the easy, immediate gut reaction answer is it's probably predicated on if the Guardians have to play the wild card round or not. And if let's take the worst case where they would have to. I think you have Tanner and Gavin, and then it might just be an all hands on deck. Maybe depending on the team you're facing, if it lends you more to want to have Matthew Boyd because there's a few more left-handers, and maybe he goes one time through the lineup. And then, if Cobb needs to come in, or they bullpen it from there, depending on how the first two games have transpired. If they do get a top 2 seed and they get the bye past the wild card round, I don't think it's any question whatsoever that it's Tanner, that it's Gavin. And then figuring out, do you want to go Matthew Boyd? Do you want to go Lively or Cobb in game 3? To me, it makes more sense knowing that you're guaranteed those first 2 starts at home, and likely, you have the 2 power guys and Bibee having games 1 and game 2.
Hey, speaking of power, Jensen, Kyle Manzardo finally showing it off with his first career home run and second. Some people saying, well, this is evidence he should have been up all along. What are your thoughts on, did that Columbus stint really help him and it was necessary? Or do you feel like, hey, maybe he could have come up a little sooner?
Yeah, Gab, we were kind of talking about that headed into some production meetings yesterday and today. And one of the unique parts of a baseball season is sometimes guys that are playing the best may not have the day-to-day opportunities at the big league level because some other things are getting sorted out. I think offensively, better late than never to have him here, and he certainly lengthens the lineup in a really positive way. I think the other thing, and keep in mind, guys, the mad scientists that are our front office guys always have that long-term view when you're looking at, maybe I don't want opposing pitching staffs or opposing teams to get a look at a Kyle Manzardo and not really understand how to get him out. There's not a big scouting report on him at the moment. And think about the teams that potentially the Guardians could play in the postseason. Really only 1 or 2 have seen him in a way where they could have an idea of how to go and counteract him. So always something to keep in mind, that is Kyle Manzardo deserving of being here 100%. But also, you need some of those Swiss Army knives, some of those surprises in October that you can spring on opposing teams. And perhaps that's also some of the methodology of why Kyle Manzardo now could end up being even a bigger boost than we previously anticipated.
Jensen, so I'm a super irrational fan, and so I see Kyle Manzardo hit 2 home runs in one game, and I'm like, he's the next Jim Thome. And then I see a guy like Lane Thomas suck for a little bit, and I'm like, cut this guy. Now he's batting over 385 over the last 10 games. Who is Lane Thomas?
Dave, I mean, to be fair, I've always thought you were a rational fan. But I think the easy answer for Lane Thomas is watching the at-bats in the first 3 weeks of his Cleveland tenure, maybe expanding the strike zone at a rate that I don't think I've seen going back and looking and watching his first couple of years there with Washington. And there are the easy, explanations of, hey, it's a new team and you want to make a good impression. But I think now we're seeing the real Lane Thomas stand up. And I think we're seeing his ability to not only have the bat to ball skills, but he's got some sneaky slug in there. The 2-run homer on Monday to put them ahead for good is evidence enough that, hey, not careful at the bottom of the order. That's a guy that can do some damage. Now, again, when you're driving at the gap at Kauffman Stadium, that's a great sign because that's one of the hard places to drive the ball with authority. And I think that's even more of a confidence booster for Stephen Vogt when he's going about lineup construction. Andres Gimenez is doing what we have seen him do the last couple of years, a great August into a fabulous September, and he finishes the year with a flourish. So if Lane Thomas is going really well, you'll hear this a lot when we get to October. You want your lineup to be as long and as productive and drive up pitch counts as much as possible. What a nice little weapon to have there if Lane Thomas continues this 11, 12 game run here of really swinging the bat consistently that we saw him do it before the trade from Washington.
And Jensen, do I need to temper my expectations? Because when I look at the offensive lineup and I look at Jose, Naylor, Big Christmas, Manzardo, like on paper, I get so jacked up. Like, how do you think that's going to evolve as we get to the postseason? Fingers crossed.
Yeah, and I think you're getting a window into it a little bit, Dave, with left-handed and right-handed starting pitching. I know Stephen Vogt really likes to have as many lefties as possible against a right-handed starter. But when you get to the postseason, you're going with your best bullets. And of course, we know that Big Christmas is going to be one of those. Where he hits in the lineup, I don't think is as much of a factor. I think they want to try and figure out, where from not only an early game standpoint, but if they've got a pinch hit, if they need a defensive replacement, you never want to take his stick out because he can change a game with one swing, as we've seen already. I mean, you don't hit 13, 14 home runs, very short sample, without being a guy that you want to have 3 at least, if not 4 at bats every single October game. So interested to see who they match up with, Dave, because I think that ultimately probably determines if he's hitting 5th or he's hitting 7th. The opposing starting pitching likely has that domino effect of where Stephen Vogt wants to have that initial lineup construction.
Jensen, we're going out west. We're going to LA this weekend. Dodgers have the best record in baseball at the time that we're recording this. What do you need to see out of the Guardians in this series against that stacked team that they got out there in LA?
I really, honestly, Nick, I want to see the starters continue having really good, solid turns through the rotation. Matthew Boyd going to get a start out there. Guys, Chavez Ravine plays quite differently at night than it does during the day. So something to watch there for that Sunday finale. Now, I don't know how many eyeballs are going to be on that game. We have kickoff for Browns and Cowboys at 4:25, just 15 minutes after Guardians and Dodgers get underway. But for those that will stick around, or for those that have multiple screens viewing, to me, if you can win a series out there, that is obviously the priority. But I want to see these starting pitchers continue to be able to navigate a lineup that second and third time around. The first 4 for the Dodgers with Shohei and Mookie and Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez, Will Smith, Max Muncy now back in there. Gavin Lux has had a great year. That's as tough a top 4 that you'll see in any major league lineup. No question about it.
All right, Jensen, before we get you out of here, we've got our direct question of the week brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct. There hasn't really been a dominant team in the AL all year. What team or teams do you think will separate themselves, once the playoffs get started?
Easy answer. That's the Houston Astros. 7 consecutive years going to the American League Championship Series. And this might be their most impressive year yet, considering At one point early in the year, they were 10 games under 500. They're double digits over 500 now, and they may have right now the deepest rotation in the American League with the big three in the back end with Abreu and Presley and Hader. They got Tanner Scott and Hector Neris back in there, so they can really shorten games. But with Valdez and Spencer Arrighetti, Hunter Brown, Yusei Kikuchi, who came over in the trade, and oh, by the way, we haven't mentioned Justin Verlander's name yet. They're get Kyle Tucker back here in September, and I think that's the scariest team for me. If you're on the American League side, that's the one team that knows how to win in October. They respect the marathon of the season better than I think anyone and know how to run the race. So I would say Houston, without a doubt, that's the stiffest competition for the American League side.
Good stuff from Jensen Lewis. This is Bringin the Heat. You'll see him every week with us. Thanks for joining. And thanks to our friends at Northeast Factory Direct. You got to catch them at any of their locations, Cleveland, Euclid, Macedonia, or North Canton. And don't forget, ask about that big play bonus. Thanks so much, Jensen.
Thanks, Jensen.
See you guys next week. Thanks.
All right, we'll be back with a little more Big Play Cleveland right after this. Welcome back to the Big Play Cleveland Show. We were just chatting everything, Bringin the Heat with Jensen Lewis, and I'm pretty psyched, guys, about our guards. I like to see this little resurgence happening, and I don't know, I'm getting excited for football, obviously, with the weather change, but also playoff baseball, baby. I'm manifesting it.
So, yeah, there was just a heated debate in my group chat that playoff baseball is the thing that will have you on the edge of your seat, unlike any other playoff. Do you guys agree? Playoff baseball, the most heart attack inducing of all playoffs.
I was
Well, we
wondering how long
don't-
you guys were going to keep your headphones on, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I always
we
make fun of
find, like,
Hanford
clever
for
ways
that. I
to
was like,
slip 'em off.
let me just. Well, I think the greater question is, like, we don't go to the playoffs enough as a football team to, like, compare and contrast. I guess
No,
we
I
don't.
would-
I
no,
guess we
I'll
don't
say- yeah, that's
as
true.
as
True,
baseball,
yeah.
but we have in, like, what, 2018, 2016, 2022. I can rattle those off. So that's at least 3 in the last. But
It's just
I
like
don't know.
every pitch matters. Whereas in football, you could screw up a little bit, and it's like if you get a turnover, you're right back in the game. You could do things to get yourself back into the game easier in football and basketball.
Yeah.
Whereas baseball, you got to be locked in on every single
Playoff
pitch.
baseball is
Yeah.
my favorite to go to.
Yeah.
Because,
For
like,
sure.
NFL's so good on
TV.
TV.
Yeah.
Like, I have no issue just watching it on TV, but
That's a good point.
even like that wild card game, do you remember with like Danny Salazar? We threw
yeah.
him out to the Wolves that one game, and that place was rocking.
Yeah.
And that was just a 1-game wild card. So, like, if they can advance, and obviously we were there for the World Series against the Cubs.
It's
that
really hard to
was-
beat all of that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. It was incredible.
Yeah, it is. It's a cool time to be in Cleveland. The weather's starting to change right now. This Brown season is going to be interesting. Whether it's good, whether it's bad. You go out there on social media, people have their opinions each way. The Cavs start basketball up in 50 days. The Guardians are still one of the best teams in baseball. Like, it is a happening time right now in the city of Cleveland. We just signed Jameis Winston. I mean, it's
Big play, Jameis Winston.
yeah, we've just got a bunch of cool stuff going on.
I love
we
it.
do.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. Make sure you guys drop by that Big Play Cleveland tailgate, Burke Lakefront Airport.
What do we got on the menu for that?
I think so. I think we're going tabletop nachos. So I've never done this either, so I'm big excited about
What-
this.
yeah, so what
big
is
thing
that?
on TikTok. You literally just get a bunch of tables and you line them up, and then you just do like
You just throw them all
I've
nachos.
seen
loaded nachos right on the table.
dump
Yeah,
bags.
yeah.
Bags
You
of
just,
chips
Okay.
and cheese
scoop.
and meat and everything else, and just dig in. And then also a little bit more tame. I think we're gonna do some sliders.
There you go.
Jeez.
Let's go.
All right, alert the Burke crew.
For
this
sure.
could get a little messy.
Yeah, it could be messy. Hey, come hang out with us, Greg Williams, the Big Play crew. We'll be down here at Burke Lakefront Airport. Stay tuned in to the Big Play Cleveland Show. Go download that Big Play app, and you'll be able to watch Jameis Winston's segment with us before every Cleveland Browns home game. We're so pumped to have him as part of the network. Huge thanks to Affinity Whole Health. Huge thanks to Northeast Factory Direct. Huge thanks to our guys over at Garage Beer. We'll do it again next week, breaking down what happened in Browns versus Cowboys. Until then, we'll see you.